This is part 2 of my Sega-CD adventure. It's been quite a while since I have tackled this one. Brought to you in 4K. That's right. High resolution. Higher. Whatever. Doesn't matter. So last time we had this out, I was getting hissing audio when I was playing Sonic-CD. And I have been looking and looking and looking. And then I gave up for a long, long time. And I came back to it. And I happened to find someone on a forum that had messed up audio as well. And what they said was it was this chip right here. Now this chip is a little different depending on the region or the motherboard, even the model of it. So this chip right here supposedly, from what he says, switches which audio processor is doing what. And so I've got a new chip. This one's an HC00 chip. Other revisions use different chips. So if you are using this as a potential fix or guide, just double check that you have this particular chip. This is on IC16. It does matter. So some also have this chip here and some don't. Mine is an early version Japanese release. And so I do have this chip over here and this chip here. I have sourced one off of eBay and I'm going to go and replace it with a new one. Cross my fingers and hope it works. On a side note, I noticed my last time I was in here working on things, I did a terrible job. You know, that was 2 years ago. I've obviously gotten a tad bit better, hopefully, at doing these things, but some of these solder joints were terrible. Some of these pads were ripped off. You know, live and learn. Do better next time. But let's get this chip off and see if it helps. Alright, last time I did this, I flooded the thing with solder and some flux, and then used the hot air to get it off after some of the leaded solder was on there. I'm going to do a similar this time. It's a fairly small chip, so it should go pretty quick. But the leaded solder helps. And it's going to shake a bit because of the way this thing is sitting. But really, I just want to get some solder in there just to kind of lower the melting point. It's going to look like a hot mess for a minute, but it's okay. We're just getting it loaded up. Cool. We'll get Mr. Hot Air Gun out. Try not to melt. Just slowly go around. I'm not putting any pressure on this like at all with the tweezers because I really don't want to yank anything off. I want to let it do its thing. So you can see that blob in the bottom left. So when it starts to get shiny, it's getting hot and liquid. I keep moving my thing too far back. There we go. It's because I'm watching the little screen instead of the actual thing. There we go. Off it goes. Easy peasy. Alright, I'll give that a second cool down just like last time. And I'm going to put a little more flux on here. Oops. I'm going to get our solder wick out and just kind of clean off this old crappy solder. And then we're going to put some new solder on there, and it'll go in real quick. Okay. Not pushing hard, just barely floating it on there just to kind of pull that off. Just enough to heat it up. And there it goes. It's all gone. Cool. It's still pretty hot. I can see it. It always looks so nice. Take a chip off, clean it up. Nice. Hold still. Okay, cool. Okay, just as a reference, there is the new chip. Oh, good, it does fit. Now, my first question here, hold still, is where is pin 1? Because let me show you the old chip. Oh, 9 more. It gone. It flew away. The old chip has this circular cutout here, and this one does not. Even on the back side, it did not have. Let's forget that over. It did not have a cutout. So, assumptions made is that it would be like this. This is the orientation because of the lettering. I am going to go look this up before I do it, but other than that, I do not have any indication of which side is which on here. But better safe than sorry, right? So I'll go look that up real quick. Okay, I went and looked up the item listing. It gave me a Mauser part number, which told me that the half circle, like in this silk screening here, is pin 1, but there is nothing on the actual chip that signifies anything. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that maybe this ST. Oh, I dropped it. Dang it. Here it goes. Okay. I'm going to assume that the ST is going to be in place of my circle on here. And go from there. It will continue to ask around and look before I power anything on, but otherwise, I'm just going to go with it. Come on, little chip, into place you go. Good enough. Perfect. Okay, and little dogs, someone's here, they like to bark. But I got things to do, so here I am. Alright, so I do the method where I put solder on my iron and not necessarily feed it directly to the chip. So I'm going to hold the chip in place. I've loaded up my iron, and just like that, we get solder to our pins. Excellent. And then I don't have to try to feed the wire and hold the chip at the same time. Okay. This was a little funny because of the angle, but I've had good luck with this method. Okay, left hand. See if we can do it. Need more solder. Oops. just the way the case is, I can't really flip it to use my right hand anymore, but it looks like we're going to do okay. Cool. So check this side. We're good. That's it. So give me just a second here. And we'll clean it up. And then we'll unhook that 32X that is now working. And plug this in. Actually, I don't need to unplug it. I can just leave it. That last pin's a little fat and blobby, but it's no bridges. We're okay. Nice shiny new chip. Okay, let's do the pin test just real quick. Good, good, good. Rather spend an extra moment now than troubleshooting. Okay, it's in. Let's plug it in, find out if it works. Okay, we got the disc put in. I have to apologize. It's like my first 4K video, and look at this composite capture. It's absolute garbage, and I don't know why. Tried different cables, tried other things, but from composite standpoint, this is all I got. All right, chip replace. Let's see how it works. Well, obviously it didn't work. We still got the static here. In the intro and in the game. So that did not fix the issue. Alright, let's try something else here. I'm going to boot up to the 240p test suite. Because I know there's some audio tests in here that should be able to help. I was having issues with some of the PCM before. So let's see if it helped at all. So there's no separation because it was a mono cable I've got. But the CDDA and both channels PCM work. So let's try something else. So I'm going to bust out my EverDrive and try it without the Sega-CD attached. So this is just Sonic CD from the EverDrive ROM. Sega. Well, what do you know? I have music. So from the EverDrive, this is working absolutely fine. Which is kind of a curiosity here. Yeah, everything's working. Alright, well, at this point, I started diving into schematics, traces, you know, what trace is broken on the Sega-CD. You know, because that's the chip right there I replaced, the IC. I started seeing if, you know, testing points back and forth. Started reading through forum posts. And someone had this kind of same issue. I was using Final Fight as well to test this because it does the same thing. But they had no background music at all. Whereas I had garbage for background music. So I started looking at the discs, pulling the discs image and seeing if they were like MP3s or waves. Because that's what they were doing on here. Just more reading through this and pulling out ISOs and Q files, and I never found anything terribly useful in them. So I decided to try image burn because none of my Linux ones would actually recognize this format. It kept telling me it's a bad format or it just burn. So I took this burn disk and stuck it in the system. We're going to try this now. Yeah, it's a bit slower than the EverDrive. Still looks terrible. Loading. Oh my gosh, we got audio. It's really awesome and terrible at the same time that burned disk was the issue and not so much a chip. But in retrospect, some of my PCM wasn't working in 240 test suite before, so I think I did get some of it fixed, but it wasn't the entire issue. I think I recapped every single board, the main board, the sub-power board, and the disk drive in this whole process. So at least it's freshly recapped. Yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for going through my adventure with me on this. Farewell.